Hi, it's Sheridan Webb here from the Training Designers Club, which is the place to go for practical L&D support, especially if you work on your own. And today I am reflecting on the annual ski holiday, which in itself is becoming a bit of an annual event. But before I do that and talk about the lessons I've learned and how that can help us to become better L&D practitioners, I need to go back in time. To go back about 25 years when I first started learning to ski. So like a lot of people, I had 2 years when I had ski school. Then the group we were in decided that we were fine and we were good enough, and off we went to enjoy the mountain and enjoy our holidays, which we did. We then took a break for a few years, had a couple of kids, and when we came back, put the kids in ski school, and within 3 years, the kids were better than me. Now, at this stage, I've been skiing probably for about 10 years, and I just accepted my level of skiing. I realised that I wasn't a great skier, but I just accepted it. I thought, well, not everybody's good at everything. Maybe skiing's not quite my thing. I still enjoyed it, even though I found it quite difficult and quite scary, and I ached at the end of the day like you wouldn't believe. I loved the mountain. I loved those alpine holidays, and I just thought that that was how it was for me. But just recently, I did go back to ski lessons because they were included with our whole package deal, so which meant it wouldn't be disrupting the rest of the family. And I'm paying for them anyway, so why not use them? And I mentioned last year about how they helped. Well, this year I have definitely seen a huge difference in my skiing, and there are lots of reasons for that. But the first thing I want to highlight is that the ski lessons that I had recently were nothing like the ski lessons I had when I was a beginner. There was none of this sort of lining up on the mountain and doing your exercises as the teacher said. We were skiing the mountain. We were doing what I would be doing anyway with the family, but I was just doing it with the benefit of a guide and in the safety of a group who was skiing at the same level as me. So it was very, very different. Lots of reasons that it was different. One is that the instructors recognized that I had experience. We all had experience. None of us was perfect. We all had little things that maybe we weren't doing quite as well, or little gaps in our confidence. But he recognized the experience. So we weren't told off for not doing things well. And crucially, we weren't taken right back to the beginning and made to start from scratch. He started where we were, I suppose. After all, we are getting down the mountain. We're doing a lot of things right. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do that. He asked what we wanted. Now, some of the people at our level wanted to take it up a notch. They wanted to do the black runs. They wanted to do off-piste. They wanted to go really fast. That wasn't for me. I just wanted to ski more confidently, to improve my speed a little so that I can keep up with the family, and to just feel more confident. The other great thing that the instructor did was he focused on the conditions. So this week when we went, there was a heavy snowfall on the first night. So the snow was deep and soft. And it meant that most of the pistes were really lumpy. It was like skiing on mogul fields. So that's what he focused on with his teaching. He said, well, this is how you ski on soft snow. This is how you get around these lumps. No point teaching us how to deal with ice if ice wasn't going to meet us on this particular holiday. He made suggestions one at a time. He didn't say, you're doing it wrong, you must do it like this. He would look and he would say, if you try it like this, you might find that easier. Or watch how so-and-so does it. Try and copy what they're doing. So just these little suggestions, which were, try it, see how it goes for you, respecting my choice in the learning process. So he invited me to try things. He gave me feedback. Of course, the snow gave me feedback. So if I fell over, I clearly hadn't done it right. And he let me go at my own pace as well. So some days I was keen to learn and I wanted to progress, and other days it was just like, do you know what? I'm just happy to sort of stay at the back and just swoosh along with things. But as a result, I am a far, far better skier. My confidence has improved no end. I am super confident now on the blue runs. I'm going a lot faster than I was, and I am competent on the reds. I'm not stood at the top of the red feeling absolutely scared to death like I was a couple of years ago. I'm looking at it going, well, that's going to be a challenge, but I know I can do it. So it has revolutionized my skiing. And Now I'm going to get to the point as to how this relates to designing training. When we're designing training for experienced people, I think we need to do the same. Because if they've been doing a job for a number of years, they aren't doing it wrong. So to take them back to basics is really going to turn them off, and they're going to miss the bits that are really going to help them. So we need to take this into account. And one of the things I talk about in my short course, Design Training in 6 Simple Steps, is the importance of understanding who your audience are and where they're at and what they want to get out of it. So we need to recognize where people are. We need to create, I think, a lot of short mini modules that we can almost do a pick and mix with, because depending on the group, some people won't need some of the training, and maybe none of them will need some of the training. So we have to be able to pick and mix depending on where they are now, what they want to get out of it, and taking into account the challenges that they are currently facing. Because believe me, when you're stood at the top of a lumpy red, you want to know how to ski lumps. If you've got a manager who's going to have a difficult conversation with somebody about persistent absence, they're going to pay attention and want to know how to have that conversation. So we need to make things as realistic and as relevant as possible. We need to invite them to try new things and keep it really simple, keep it really practical. We need to build on those things. So go and try that, and then see how that feels, and then we can build on the next thing. Because if we try and give everybody everything all at once, it's going to be completely overwhelming. They're not going to know where to start, and they're not even going to try. Certainly, if Thomas, our instructor, had tried to give me all of the tips all at once, I would have just probably walked away from those lessons. It was very much one step at a time. And I think that's why little and often training works so well. It's why on-the-job training is so valuable, and it's why, of course, coaching can be so powerful, because we're just taking one thing at a time. So let's think about that when we are designing training programs. I know there's pressure to say, let's get people on a 2-day course and give them everything, because logistically, practically, economically, it makes more sense. But if we're training to improve business performance and to transfer skills, it makes a lot more sense to do it this way than if we're just training to prove that we've gone through a syllabus. And this little and often support is something that I can help you with as well, with my one-to-one design diagnosis. If you've been in L&D for a number of years, you're not doing it wrong. You must be doing it mostly right, otherwise you wouldn't still be in the job, right? But that doesn't mean to say that, like me coming down the mountain, there aren't things that you could be doing differently to make it a little bit easier for you, or things that you could be doing to make the training you're designing just that little bit more impactful. It's not about starting from scratch. You won't have to overhaul everything that you do, but a few tweaks here and there, a few little tricks that I've picked up along the way could really make a big difference to the training that you design and potentially deliver. So if that's of interest to you, please do get in touch. You can hire me for anything from 1 hour to a whole day to do a collaboration piece of design. And for more practical hints and tips on how to design effective training more efficiently, do check out the rest of the YouTube channel, the Training Design Podcast, and of course, visit the website, which is www.trainingdesignersclub.co.uk.